This is the best of Chad Benson.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Much higher than anybody possibly expected. 266 is just a great number. Unemployment rate down to the lowest, in 50 years.
Yeah, and underemployment rate down again. Year to year, wages risen over 3.5, 3.6. It's good. Why is that important? All the talk of impeachment, all the talk of all of the other stuff, right? All the chaos surrounding the president, some of it manufactured by him, some of it manufactured by others. Some of it is just the drama that the media loves to get involved with because it's something to talk about. And they're at the point now where they're no longer just news organizations, they're media organizations, and you got to have stuff to talk about, right? And it's interesting because at the end of the day, we're a checkbook society, right? You feel good? What are you going to do? You feel good. What are you going to do? You going to kick him out? You going to throw him out? Well, I think he's really wrong, blah, blah. You going to throw him out? Really? You going to do that? Probably not. I mean, I don't like what he does, but if you've improved or you're feeling good about your life, it's hard to derail that, especially if the person that they may replace him with on the other side of the aisle is talking about raising everybody's taxes and doing radically different things that our country's built upon. What are you going to do? It's an interesting thing. His best friend is the economy, and his worst enemy could be the economy. At this point in time, it's his best friend. Look at the amount of jobs. Look at the stock market. Look at a lot of different things. This market goes to hell in a handbasket and the jobs collapse. It's on him, right? He's the coach and the quarterback. Who do we give all of the blame to? The coach and the quarterback. Right? Who gets all the praise, though? The coach and the quarterback. Last night, the Cowboys lost. Jerry Jones is apoplectic. He's pissed. He cussed on a radio station today, right? And Jerry Jones is unlike any of the other owners in sports, minus Mark Cuban. He's out there. He's in front. He does the things that he does. And you know what? He is the owner. He is the mouth. He's the GM. He's all of those things. He's blaming Jason Garrett. Why? Well, you're the coach. And it's your fault, too, the way that things have gone. I mean, it's going to land on you, right? And the quarterback, Dak's not very good, da-da-da-da-da. That's the way it works. And so many people, when I posted this today, they're like, well, this is still Obama's. I'm like, when does it become his? When it goes to hell in a handbasket? When it fits your narrative? Because we're a narrative society. We're going to decide what the narrative is going to be now. No longer how it was meant, or only how it's taken. And in fact, now it doesn't even matter how it was meant. If you preface everything with, let me tell you what's going to happen, let me tell you all of these things, let me tell you everything about what I'm going to say, you can still redefine it in your mind to fit the narrative in your mind. Like it or not, it's Trump's economy. Okay? Period. And it will be his best friend or his worst enemy. That is the reality of all of this stuff. Will be his best friend if it continues to stay this way. And by the way, just to let you know, they revised the last 2 months as well up. 50-year low in unemployment. Say what you want. Best friend, worst enemy. Right now, best friend. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Of course, yesterday was a
This is a historic day here in the nation's capital.
It will be a busy and historic day.
You're watching what can only be described as an historic day.
This is turning out to be a historic day, a very important day. And another very, very important and historic day.
At the end of a long and certainly historic day.
A truly historic day. It's a historic day on Capitol Hill.
A historic day with millions watching.
A historic day.
All right, it is a historic day.
A very historic and important day. This is going to be another historic day on this historic day.
So it's a historic day yesterday. What does that mean? Well, we're moving forward. They're going to write up articles of impeachment. Justin Amash, who is from Michigan, has already said he's a Republican. He's outgoing. He doesn't like the president. Says he's going to vote for 3 of the articles. Wants to see what they look like first. But you already have 2 other people on the other side, Democrats, who said, you know what? Nah. I'm not going to vote for this. I don't think we need it. I think it's divisive. I don't really see what you guys see, and we're not going to vote with it. So, it is what it is. One thing, though, is that a lot of Democrats are talking about, and I've got a couple of them that I'm friendly with, and they, and people that are in the Democratic apparatus, if you will, and I'll text with them and we'll talk, and you work in this business long enough, you build up your sources, and one of my sources says, look, the big fear is exactly the backlash that might come, but also how are they going to roll these things out? Because they feel they're very disconnected. The run of the mill, which is the majority of them, right? You're on a few committees, but most people aren't on the big fancy committees, right? You want to be on the Ways and Means Committee. You want to be on the Judicial Committee. And a few of these, there's those big, those things where your face is everywhere. A lot of them are in those back rooms and they're just, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and debating on certain things. They feel like they're being left out, and they feel like that there's just several noisemakers who are crafting these things, and it's a take it or leave it. And it's going to come back and bite him in the ass.
In my opinion, it would be a tactical blunder, a huge mistake if Democrats were to expand the focus to include the Mueller report. Let's not forget that in the second half of the Mueller report, relative to the obstruction issues, Mueller reached no conclusion, and then you got into that whole tit for tat with Bill Barr and what Mueller had concluded differently or not concluded at all.
Blunder, blunder. Blunder. Remember that song? It was a good song. But it was Thunder. I like that song. But, yeah. How much are you going to do? Because now you're talking about Mueller. Now you're talking about all kinds of things that you're going to be bringing in here. Now you're talking about widening this thing to the point where you feel like you're just throwing everything out there. Well, I don't like how he talks to people, and I don't like that he does this, and I don't like the way that he does that, and I didn't like this, and I think about that, and that thing that he said, we did this big thing, remember that? And guess what? We've decided that we need to redo that thing because the guy that we thought was going to deliver didn't deliver, but we think we can find something there. And it's starting to become a situation where you are really starting to make it look like you're overreaching, like you're just, hey, we're going to throw everything out there. Eventually, you're going to get caught for something.
But more importantly, I think that it would play into the president's hands and the hands of Republicans who say, look, they've been lying in wait since day one for the president. This is about the whole kitchen sink and not simply what transpired relative to Ukraine. I think a sniper approach is better than a shotgun blast in a case like this.
Remember when this first happened? What did I say? The one thing about this is it's easy to understand, right? He withheld money. He wanted something personally to unleash that money to the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are battling the Russians, right? It's pretty simple. So, like, if you ever played the game Risk, it's kind of simple, right? Like, it was easy to understand, but now you're muddying the waters. You're doing essentially what politics is all about, right? Like, there's no clean bills. Clean bills are easy to get through but there's not, because what ends up happening is everybody starts adding things to it. All of a sudden, something that was simple, they've now just made it completely. And if you're starting to expand it, that right there is one of the things where people are going to say, well, hold on a second. Didn't we just go through that? Didn't that guy that you guys thought was going to deliver all of these things, deliver something that you didn't like, but now you're going to go back to it because no. And he's right. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. I don't think they will. I think they'll overreach because I think they're kind of looking around saying we're going to try to do something. But do I think this is the right thing to do? I do not. I think if you're going to do it, make it simple, make it quick, make it easy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me today. Pensacola, a base shooting, 4 people dead, including the shooter.
The FBI has taken over the investigation, though that does not necessarily indicate this was an act of terrorism. Since the shooting happened at a federal facility, the Bureau may have taken over anyway. But investigators are working to determine whether Mohammed al-Shamrani acted because of an adherence to a terror ideology or because of something else, maybe a dispute with flight school classmates.
Yeah, so it was a Saudi national that was training at a base in Pensacola. And the motive, they don't really know, right? You figure they would have vetted him and done all these things, that the chances of him, at least through the vetting process, of him knowing what took place and how many people were from Saudi Arabia in 9/11 and all of that stuff, that this person would have been vetted in such a way, but we're not quite sure. And this is on the heels. This is a naval base on the heels of what happened in Pearl Harbor in the shooting the other day, which was not terror related. There was a dispute between apparently a commander and stuff. But think about the size of these bases. How many people are on these bases? I think they said 16 to 17,000 people. It's almost split half and half between civilians and military personnel. And this military base, in particular, this Navy base, was a flight base. So it wasn't like there was a situation where many of these people have even handled guns since, somebody said since basic training. And a few things like that. This was strictly a flight training facility for all intents and purposes. How he got the gun on there, because there's been a big dispute and a big argument about whether or not guns should be on base or not after Fort Hood. Because remember, on Fort Hood, there weren't any guns. Only the MPs usually have guns. And outside of that, even if you're a soldier, you're checking your weapon. And if you have I had a friend who worked there when I was working at a radio station out in Palm Springs, and he was there. And he had just gotten back. They played paintball and did some stuff like the day before, and they were coming back into the facility. They had to check their paintball guns. So there's been a dispute along the way. It's like, well, hold on a second. It's like, can you, can't you? And this is a situation where we'll find out if it's terror. They'll check his social media, his phone, and all of those things. But another ugly situation today. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. By the way, the White House has said they will not participate next week in the charade that is the charade. I call it the charade. The charade that is this impeachment. So Monday there'll be some more hearings, but they're not going to participate at all. So that is not a shocker. This is our shocked face. Wounded Paws, amazing organizations. Incredible organization. And so I was on there earlier because Channing Tatum does something for Wounded Paw, and it's just you realize in the season of giving, we can enjoy all this stuff, right? We can enjoy all of this stuff that we see and have fun and doing stuff, this, that, and the other, and it's because we have so many people out there who protect us in ways that we don't see on a daily basis, but they struggle, and we need to do more to protect them. On top of that, how many of us love animals? And so many animals out there, especially dogs, are being euthanized on a daily basis. And that's where Wounded Paw comes in. Wounded Paw rescues animals, right? They take them from from shelter dogs, turns them into service dogs for our first responders, for our veterans, and for their families. And it is amazing. My uncle, who passed away many moons ago, God bless him and rest his soul, who was in Vietnam, and he struggled the entire time in my life that I knew him. My uncle struggled all the time. And the only time that he ever felt whole was with his dog. And it wasn't a service dog, it was just a dog. What these animals do are incredible. So now is your chance to give. Take action today. Turn your extra car, truck, RV, even a boat into a vehicle for change. They also take cash as well. You're going to be saving a paw to save a life. Check everything else out. Just go look for yourself. Go to woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org, or call 844-678-4PAW, 844-678-4729. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
The Chad
Chad Benson Show, where the sensible center hangs out. Hey, you. That doesn't mean you can put your feet up on the table.
You're despicable.
This is Chad Benson.
As one grateful nation, we praise the joy of family, the blessings of freedom, and the miracle of Christmas. On behalf of Melania and our entire family, Merry Christmas, and God bless you all.
We were just talking about Christmas. I just sent the guys a picture of my house. It's like the Griswolds and like everything. It's just amazing. I love Christmas. But I was telling, because Anthony's all, so producer Anthony down the street from his house, he's like, the neighbors have like a speaker and it's blaring Christmas music and they've got all the blow up stuffs out. And I'm like, that is awesome. He's like, I knew you were going to say that. And he's like, can I shoot that thing? And I'm like, if you do, you will be in so much trouble with Hallmark people. And I'm a Hallmark person. I was reading here. Do you want to know how popular Hallmark is? There is a Hallmark like murder mystery channel, and I was reading that their numbers are way bigger than CNN's numbers. CNN's numbers are so awful. Like they're not even. It's like reruns of like The Price is Right on like the Game Show Network kind of numbers. I don't know what they're going to do. And MSNBC, whether you like them or not, they're at least genuine in what they do. They've never hidden it. The problem, besides the fact that CNN has just, for all intents and purposes, not very entertaining groups of people, is the fact that they have gone out of their way to pretend at first to be, hey, we're covering news. Like today, when the shooting happened, I went to CNN, and the reason was pretty simple. The one thing that they do still in the breaking news situations like that is really good. And they did a good job, right? But then it's just non-stop impeachment, and they're not good at it. They're just not. It's a tough watch, and it's a tough watch when it's not. They're just not entertaining. That's what we've talked about with the media is, if Trump went away today, people say, are you happy about this? I'm like, dude, if he goes away today, no offense. Not for all the Trumpians out there. I could care less. Honestly. Right? I have more fun talking about the Hallmark stuff in this day and age than I do a lot of this other baloney. Super excited. A lot of Hallmark stuff on this weekend. Oh, yeah, I'll be watching it. Putting up my Christmas tree, finishing my lights. Oh, yeah. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
Chad Benson Show.
This is the best of Chad Benson.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, I like Christmas that much. You guys got a problem with that? I think so. Because you like it too. You know you do. Then Hanukkah. Right? Found out I was Jewish when they did my DNA test. I did one of those things. And I was like, awesome. It's cool. But I'm celebrating it all, and I love it all. Shopping, the whole 9 yards. It's just great. I'm giving. It's fun. I like getting in the spirit. It's a good thing. I think we should be more in the spirit. Speaking of the spirit, we need better stories. Right? I'm so sick of the fighting and the arguing. I like good stories. This story will make your heart smile, and we need more good stories. And there's so many more good stories than bad stories, but for whatever reason, people seem to be drawn towards, it's the rubbernecking on the freeway, right? But this story right here make you smile.
5-year-old Michael Orlando Clark Jr. smiling right there. He's about to be adopted. And right behind him in his Kent County, Michigan courtroom, Michael's entire kindergarten class holding their hearts from Wealthy Elementary School in East Grand Rapids. Michael invited them all, their smiling faces filling the courtroom, vouching for that new son. His best friend, Stephen.
My name's Stephen, and Michael's my best friend.
Lily, too.
My name is Lily, and I love my club.
Waving those hearts, it was time.
Yeah. So he's there, right? He's there. So the whole crew's right there. All of his friends. And by the way, adoption time, because when my little brothers were adopted, it's the coolest thing. Adoption court, when the finalization comes in, right? So there's two judges in there, and one of them's got like Christmas lights wrapped around, and it is just awesome. And it's just like a really it's so cool.
It is ordered, Michael, that your forever mom and dad will be David Andrew Eaton and Andrea Louise Melvin.
The whole courtroom ready.
1, 2, 3.
And afterward, Michael holding the mic for his new dad, David. But there was something Michael wanted to add.
And this is awesome right here. This is what it's all about, right? The fighting, the politics, all this kind of crap. Here is a couple, right, adopting a kid. He's over the moon. He knows, right? Like that security. Like this is mom and dad. And this is awesome.
The workers there have just been amazing.
And I love my daddy.
Wow. I
love my daddy so much.
This is just too much. Yeah, it's been amazing, obviously, how supportive they've all been.
I love my daddy too much.
Michael is loved, too, by his new parents and his entire class holding their hearts.
Yeah, that's awesome. We need more of that. I don't know why we don't have more of that. Right? I try to bring that stuff because that to me, I just sit there and I'm like, that's awesome. It's great. Reminds us this is what it's all about, right? It's about your kids. It's about your life. It's about you. It's about the people you surround yourself with, your dreams, your hopes, all of those things. And we can discuss the politics of it all because that is part of our lives. But I think this divisiveness and this craziness and why this thing was so important when I watched this thing is because mom and dad are white, Michael's black. Right? And people, no, you know what they are? Mom and dad are mom and dad, and Michael is son. And I think we forget, right? Like underneath it all, we're all the same. We're all going through this thing at the same thing. And we're all going to end in the same way. Right? Nobody gets out of here alive. No matter how hard Google tries, at least in the body you have now, you're not getting out of here alive. And I just wish we focus a lot more on the positive because I like that stuff. To me, that's just so much more amazing. And just to remind ourselves, kind of ground ourselves every once in a while, just take a step back and go, hey, you know what? We're all good, right? We can fight. We can argue. Doesn't mean, though, that that's all we need to do. We can fight. We can argue. We can part as friends. And we need more of that. Not just during the holiday season, but I think in general. We need more of that. Because we've now gotten to a place in our country, hell, in our world, where it's like there's no forgiveness. We live in a cancel culture that is insane. We live in a culture where we're allowing people to take their feelings and define it how they want and then turn around on other people, even if it wasn't meant that way, or something that was done years ago to punish them today in today's world of sensibilities because somehow the goalpost has moved. And I just find it to be insane. Forgiveness is gone. Right? It is. It's just, okay, here's the perfect example. This is Tim Ryan, football player. Here's the politically correct culture that we live in. I understand why he got in trouble for this. And he's a former football player. He's an announcer. He was talking he was a 49ers announcer. This past weekend, what happened? They played Lamar Jackson. They lost. He was on a radio show. And he said this.
His dark skin color with a dark football, with a dark uniform, you could not see that thing. I mean, you literally could not see when he was in and out of the mesh point. And and that's going to and you're a half step slow on.
Yeah. Right? You're a half step slow. Suspended. Cancel culture. People are calling for him to be fired. The players have his back. And what I said the other day is I can guarantee you, while he played, I think, 4 or 5 years in the NFL, and I can guarantee you, though, he's close with a lot of those guys, and they all said the same thing. This is Richard Sherman, very outspoken, one of the smartest guys in the NFL, a broadcast career or a CEO, whatever he wants to do, it's in front of him. But this is Richard Sherman talking about Tim Ryan and this entire thing.
Yeah, I know Tim personally, and I listened to the dialogue and saw it written. And honestly, I wasn't as outraged as everybody else. You know, I understand how it can be taken under a certain context and be offensive to some. But if you're saying, hey, this is a brown ball, they're wearing dark colors, and he has brown arm, honestly, sometimes we were having trouble seeing it on film. You know, he's making a play fake, and sometimes he's swinging his arm really fast, and you're like, okay, does he have the ball on that play? And then you look up, and Ingram's running it.
Yeah. He wasn't done there because they're kind of circling the wagon around him because I think they feel like, oh, okay, they maybe want to get rid of this. And this is stuff we told this guy, and he's not telling on us that these are things he reported, right? He's got our back. He's keeping his mouth shut about that.
It 100% presents an issue. What he presented, that's why, you know, it wasn't that offensive because what he was saying was a great point.
Yeah, it's just the way he said it. And I get it. We've got to be more sensitive. But the problem is as we're trying to be more sensitive and more aware of things, right? And that maybe I shouldn't have put something like this, or maybe I shouldn't have done something like that, or maybe I should. I'm all for that. Right? Like, try to figure out how we place in the right way. The problem is we no longer, there's no more nuance and saying, okay, I get that you meant it that way. I didn't take it that way, but now that I know you meant it that way, I get what you're saying, and okay, cool, right? We don't even give you that. Like, even if you come now and you're contrite and you're like, I didn't mean it in the way that everybody's taking, you know, in case in point, like this entire ridiculous thing with this Peloton, right? The guy, the actor finally in the Peloton ad. So here's a guy who did an ad in August for Christmas for Peloton, a part-time actor and teacher from Vancouver, British Columbia, finally speaks out. He spent 2 days with a make-believe wife on a set for a Christmas commercial on a $3,000 bike that he was excited about getting an opportunity to have, you know, a worldwide commercial. And he says after a few days, the comments from his friends dried up, and what started to come were people started attacking him, going after him. Comments that blasted the promotion as sexist and mocks its message. He goes, my 5 seconds of airtime created an array of malicious feedback that's all associated with my face. My friend texted me today declaring I'm a symbol for patriarchy. We have the chance to make hashtag Peloton husband a meme. Why? Because somebody took this. There are people out there who said, well, you know what this is, right? She's being abused. I'm like, what? Like, how do you get to that? Because you're allowing people to control a conversation and everything in their life is victim, 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 victim. Right? And it's insane. Tim Ryan didn't do anything wrong. He said something got suspended, and I hope they don't fire him for it because I do not think it was anything malicious. And I think what he was trying to say is probably what was echoed by other players on the team, which is what I'm hearing. Right? And what we talk about stuff like that, and there shouldn't be any forgiveness. Here's something for you. You want to talk about real issues in racism? Italy, one of the greatest soccer nations in the world, has racism issues like you could not believe, and not just in soccer, but in general. Listen to this.
Racist chants have been an ugly part of soccer for decades here in Italy, with black players targeted by white supremacist fans and little official censoring. Now, this week, a top Italian sports paper, Corriere dello Sport, managed to shock readers with a headline many call blatantly racist, the words Black Friday, with pictures of black players Chris Smalling and Romelu Lukaku ahead of a game on Friday between Inter Milan and AS Roma. The players and their teams condemned the paper and took the decision to ban it from their training facilities for the rest of the year.
Yeah. They throw bananas, they make monkey noises, not just there. It's 2 weeks ago. The Ukraine as bad as it is corrupt, their racism is legendary. They were making monkey noises, racist chants, all kinds of stuff in the middle of the game. You're supposed to stop down the game, and after the second time you stop it down, the home team forfeits. Finally, one of the black players gets, or it's not even black, he's a Brazilian player, right, who happens to be black, gets the ball, and he's mad, and he kicks it towards the fans, and the referee throws him out of the game. It's nuts. And here, somebody says something, it's like, well, we got to get rid of him. Hey, that guy over there did a commercial. We better go after him because obviously he must have written it, and this is what he feels like, and he is the face of patriarchy and probably domestic violence. Why? Because I've been allowed to define it. Not that his wife, maybe if we're going to go, we can go the other way and say, well, maybe she wanted the bike, right? Maybe she said, God, I don't have time to work out because I'm going to college at night and I'm doing all of these things. Like, if we're going to define something, let's give a backstory to something else. But everybody goes right to the worst because everybody's interested in being a victim and defining something. And that's scary. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. That's your Twitter. AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens, fastest growing organization over 50 in the country, offering you a free opportunity to join right now for 1 year. It's not going to cost you a thing. They're out there fighting on your behalf for Social Security and immigration and all kinds of things. They go to everybody, right and left, out there in D.C., and they're out there going, hey, what are you doing to make sure these things are solved? And how are you trying to balance the budget? What are you doing to get to get our debt in order? What are you doing to do these things so our lives economically aren't smashed because you guys didn't pay attention? Top of that, they got benefits from retail, restaurant, hotel discounts. You name it, they've got it. They'll help you with things like Medicare and signing up, do all of those things. They're ready for you and waiting, and it's a free membership. Take advantage of all of these things by going to amac.us/Chad, amac.us/Chad, or call 888-355-1617, 888-355-1617. It's 1 year. It's free. It's on me, amac.us/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
I was telling the guy, somebody just texted and goes, thanks for telling us that our problem here with race is going to get worse like in the Ukraine and Italy. I'm like, where did you get that out of that story? Like, did you guys get that out of that story at all? Didn't think so. Maybe some of you did. I don't know. It's... people hear stuff, right? It's like, I'm like, what are you hearing? I'm like, is my English, is it poor? Producer Phil, do you understand me?
No, 9 times out of 10 I do.
All right, well, there you go. Well, you know what? It can't be perfect all the time, I guess. I don't know where people get that. I just sit back sometimes and say to myself, I don't even know. I have no idea what's going on. I don't. It's just crazy. It's like we used to have a segment. We got to bring it back. What I said, what you heard. Like today's a perfect example of this. Like Nikki Haley's getting blasted because of something she said, but I listened to it, right? And people are saying, so she said the Confederate flag was about service, sacrifice, and heritage until Dylan Roof hijacked it?
This is one of the oldest African American churches. These 12 people were amazing people. They loved their church. They loved their family. They loved their community. And here is this guy that comes out with his manifesto holding the Confederate flag and had just hijacked everything that people thought of. And we don't have hateful people in South Carolina. There's always the small minority that's always going to be there. But, people saw it as service and sacrifice and heritage. But once he did that, there was no way to overcome it.
And I'm like, okay. I mean, I didn't know what the question was. But when you listen to that, I'm like, I don't know where people get that, but that's where people go. They just jump in and they do that. And she was talking about that awful Dylan Roof character. But it's you just can't win anymore. It's like you say something, it's like, well, I decided it's going to be this. What are you going to do? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Popular dog names this past year. So female dog names, top 10, Bailey, Sadie, Molly, Lola, Zoe, Lily, Daisy, Lucy, Luna, Bella. What? Here's my dog names, right? Red, von Fustenberg. We call him Red. He came named Red. But we got to name the other one, and his name is Doodle. Doodle. And he's a carbivore. He's the weirdest dog in the world. You give him you can hand him, like, here's a steak. And he's like, I don't want that. It's like, what do you have over there? He's like, I've got some pizza crust. Yeah, I'll have that. Like, weird. How about for male dogs? Teddy, Duke, Bear, Jack, Milo, Rocky, Buddy, Cooper, Charlie, Max. Weird. It's like, what? Those are like regular names. Aren't you supposed to? But this is what we do, right? Right? Like, we give our animals names, and then we give them nicknames. So my cat's name is Threador. But we call him 3 because he's only got 3 legs. So Threador. And then we give him a name, 3. And Doodle's just, the dude. And then Red is just, well, he's just annoying. Sweet dog, but just like so annoying. But this is what you do. You give your animals nicknames. Like Sir Winston Duke. We just call him Winnie. What's up, Winnie? What's up, Winston? So weird. Like, that's regular names. Don't do that. Give your dog a fun name. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Yes, my lizards have fun names. There's Norman as a regular name. Gronk and Brady. These guys are good. Mo, Salah, my big Nile monitor, and Argy, the Argus. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the best of Chad Benson.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
On this vote, the yeas are 230, the nays are 197, present is 1. Article 1 is adopted. The question is on adoption of Article 2.
So that was last night. History in the making. Only the third president in the history of the United States or America. But I listened to Trump last night, and I want you guys to listen to what separates him in so many ways and why the people that love Trump identify with him in ways that I think people are always, whenever I talk to people that, whether, it's in a professional manner or we're friends or whatever it is, and we're talking about politics and Trump, and when they're on the other side, if you will, of the aisle, they don't get it. They don't get it. But listen to him last night, and we'll get to the dingle thing a little bit later, but listen to him last night and listen to the first few words he says, which to me just shows you everything you need to know, and I'll tell you why.
It doesn't really feel like we're being impeached.
It doesn't really feel like we're being impeached. The reality is you're being impeached. But everybody in that crowd feels like they're being impeached. Everybody in that crowd feels like it is us versus them, and that you're part of that team. That is so strong. I don't think people understand that. When I heard that last night, everybody's talking about all this stuff, and I thought to myself, God, gets it. Other people are like, well, I don't get it. We, us. You feel attached. You feel like you're part of it. That's strong.
It doesn't really feel like we're being impeached. The country is doing better than ever before. We did nothing wrong. And we have tremendous support in the Republican Party like we've never had before. Nobody's ever had this kind of support.
Us and we is huge. Us and we is massive. Right now, the guy that is going to be the MVP in the NFL, Lamar Jackson, whenever you hear him talk, it's us and we. That's why people love him. Us and we. Us and we. Hey, you're going to be the MVP. We're a great football team. It's because of them. Us, we. Last night, once again, he said, us. Us. That is so strong. And I don't think people understand that. You're making them a part of it. It's a bad thing, but now it's us. What does that do? Once again, everybody is what? Cloaked in their world of politics. That is their belief. That is their identification anymore. And because of that, when you say we, what happens? Oh, we, us, we, us. Oh, I get. I'm a part of that. I'm a part. I identify as an us and a we. We're here all together with the hats and we're digging in. We're protecting. We're holding people's feet to the fire. That is strong. That is absolutely strong. We're just talking because tonight the Democratic debate is going on. And while the younger generation is the largest generation, the generation, the snowflake generation, millennials, whatever you want to call it, but while that is going to be the largest generation, and that generation will have the biggest voter impact, here's something that is so different compared to other generations. This generation is so individualistic in ways that are totally different. And my son is the perfect example of sports, right? I love my teams. And they're my teams. I love the uniform, the team, and of course you love the players. But when that player leaves, that player left. Nowadays, they identify with the individuals, not the team, right? So you love Bernie, and Bernie doesn't get through, doesn't mean you love somebody else. That's one of the big problems that a lot of people got mad at Bernie as, because I think he wanted his people to go over to Hillary, and she was pissed off about that, and we talked about that. But they're very much, well, I want this, and this is who I identify with, and this is what I'm about, and it's very much an individualistic thing, and it's very much like this. And I like that. I like players, not teams. Right? Like if I was to play FIFA, which is the soccer game, I'm playing Manchester United because I love Manchester United. I'm playing them. My son, he puts together his little Madden football team, and he's trying to pick, like, all he wants is his favorite players. He doesn't care about teams. That's very real. Trump has done something where, whether people believe it or not, he has built a coalition of people that are behind him in a way that is totally different. You can hate him. You can have a disdain for him. The only thing that binds so many of these people on the other side of the political sphere from the Trump people and from the Republicans is that their disdain for him. But they are in it with him, right? You're not rallying behind Nancy. You're not rallying behind Adam Schiff. You just like the fact that he's going after him. But they're united in what they're doing. And that is strong. Much stronger than people realize. That's real strength right there. And no matter what anybody says, oh, it's going to be a walk. Whoever the Democrats get in there is just going to walk there. It's no big deal. I have news for you. You're going to be surprised. You are. You really are. Minus something crazy happening with the economy, I could see nothing else going on here at this point in time that's going to stop him from being reelected. And that probably pisses a lot of people off, but that's the reality. Again, it's still, 11 months away, 10.5 months away, and there's a lot of time. But at this point in time, as they move forward, tell me who's going to be dynamic on stage. Tell me who's going to come in and dazzle everybody. Tell me who is going to be able to go over and steal enough people in enough places And we've talked about that 300,000 to 500,000 people in those 6 swing states. Tell me who's going to do that. I don't see it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Yeah, that was, God, just listening to him last night was just, Trump, but listening to all the people who were just so over like the moon and the excitement and I'm sitting there watching it and I'm just laughing because I'm just like and they did you see that like Fox Television, not the news, because all of them were they were just oh my God, but like Fox TV did a split screen with the Masked Singer because I couldn't even go away from it. It's like, well, I don't know if everybody's gonna really like this, so we'll just do a split screen because more people are probably into the Masked Singer than the other side of things. So, but it was, look, it's exactly what I thought it was last night. It was no surprise. Tulsi Gabbard said, nah, I'm voting president. And everybody's like, she's a coward. I'm like, really? Because, she's the one who stood up and said, nah. You had 2 others and then 3 others vote on different articles that you had 2 that voted nah on the Democratic side for Article 1. I think 3 for Article 2. But those are people that are what? That are in positions where they could potentially lose their seat. So, and that's not unexpected, right? And I'm sure that had their vote been the vote, the Democrats would have probably tried to twist their arm and leg in any way, shape, or form to get him there. But they probably knew, all right, they're going to vote nah and it's okay because we have enough votes. And I understand because it's as much about keeping power as it is about trying to get Trump out of there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from every single one of you. A lot of stuff, including the greatest, worst, best proposition ever when it comes to somebody who is looking to hook up. This story, I read it and I read it again, and then I'm like, this is spectacular. This is, and I don't even know what goes through people's minds. I don't. I'm like, wow, I wish I could have been there for that. Like, how do you arrive to what you're offering? I'm curious. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. My Pillow. So I've been traveling, working lots, working extra hours, doing bunch of different shows and stuff on top of all the other shows I do. And one of the things is, I stay in a hotel because I do live a bit out of town. And so, man, these towels are awful they have in the hotel. Now, the hotel's nice, but it's just like, not the worst, but they could use a little bit of an upgrade. That's all I'm saying. My Pillow's got towels now, kids, and they're amazing. All right, 5 different colors to choose from. No fillers or cheap cotton. It's 100% U.S.-made cotton. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee. These things are incredible. 5 different colors, luxury feel, super absorbent, 30 by 56 bath towels, so extra big, extra soft, 16 by 30 hand towels, and washcloths as well. Made right here in the USA, and you're going to save bigly right now. It's simple and easy. So what I want you to do, go to MyPillow.com, click on the new radio listener specials. When you do, type in code Benson, you're going to save 30% off, but you got to do it right now. MyPillow.com, click on the new radio listener special, 30% off these amazing towels. You're going to love them. Super absorbent, luxurious feel, 5 different colors to choose from. Get yours now on that 60-day money-back guarantee. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson, Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
No need to fear. We promise we won't give you a noogie and make you cry Russia, Russia, Russia.
Who is the fearless leader?
Pooey.
Pooey, pooey, and double pooey.
What is your language? This is a family show, remember?
Pooey to family too.
Nostrovia. This is Chad Benson.
Not to go all Scrooge on you, but you might want to think twice before buying your boss a holiday gift.
Number one, it compels the boss to give something back. And number two, it often turns into almost a competition. Who is giving the best, priciest, the most luxurious gift?
Attorney Philip Weiss with consulting firm Safe Arth at Work says instead, ask your supervisor to take part in a Secret Santa.
Things like grab bags where everyone can pull a gift, but be sure to include some monetary limits so no one feels that they have to spend too much.
And never require employees to take part.
Yeah. I give like gifts, little things here to a few people. It's never, and I mean, it's weird. Like and being in a building now, because for years it was just my lizards and I, and again, the guys are in different studios. It's kind of an odd thing. It's not like we have a Chad show party, although we probably should. That'd be pretty sweet, but it's kind of hard. But it's so odd being in studios now for the first time in forever, and it's to watch because like every department does their own thing. Like we have our own like holiday Christmas party thing, whatever it is, but every department now does their own thing on top of that. It's a lot going on. All I know is there's just too many cookies, right? Like there's just fudge, which I don't eat, cookies, just sugar and chocolate chip. Those I will eat. It's crazy, like how much food is around. That's what we do with our holidays, right? Like what are you guys doing? Well, it's a holiday, so we got to eat. We should have a holiday where we're not eating. What's the holiday? It's not eating day. Well, I can't do that. We'll have to have a barbecue to celebrate not eating day. And we do love to eat here, don't we? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. With all that being said and the craziness yesterday, people forget tonight there is, yes, are you ready for it? A debate.
Before they go on stage here tonight, the Democrats are using today to be out campaigning in California. Joe Biden is joining McDonald's workers who are arguing for more money and union rights. Unions have played a big role here. This debate almost didn't happen because of a labor dispute at Loyola Marymount University. That's been settled, and now tonight's debate goes on.
Yeah, 7 are going to be there, and Cory Booker is going to run an ad because he's not there, and he shouldn't be. He's like, the qualifications are too stringent. If the qualifications are too hard, then what makes you think you have a chance to become president? I'm curious. Because you can go back and look, and yeah, there were some people in the back who made some noise and really made a run up, but they also had personalities. There's certain something about Cory that is, I don't see him making the way, just like, Castro, right? And, sorry you're not on stage, but there are qualifications, and it's not because of people of color. If that's what you think it is, then maybe you should think about leaving the Democratic Party because they're the one running this shindig. And Tom Perez, also happens to be a person of color who runs the DNC, said, we're not going to change anything. So tonight you got the usuals, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, Joe Biden, joined by Tom Steyer, billionaire, Amy Klobuchar. Wonder what her hair is going to be doing. That thing was interesting last time. And Andrew Yang will also be there tonight. So, and I think Yang's out today with Donald Glover, right? Is that he's going to be out there doing something with him? Isn't it funny, though? Like, there's Biden's going, and he's doing the Biden thing that you do. I mean, Andrew Yang is very much the hipster thing, right? Very hipster. A lot of the stuff he says is very real, but it's the same, kind of like Bernie, it's the same thing kind of over and over again, but there's a hipster feel to him. So he's hanging out with, with Donald Glover, and, Joe Biden's going to hang out with, people at McDonald's for fighting for more money. So, and I bet you, man, Yang's going to be totally trending throughout the day. And over under, Phil, Yang, 5 minutes. Although there's less people, I still think he's not going to get that much time.
I'll go over on 5 minutes, but not by much.
Yeah, and there'll be tomorrow, Let Yang Speak will be trending everywhere, which is hilarious. And think about this, too. Even when I watch him and they go to him, he gives kind of his answer, and then that's it. It's not like he gives a 30-second answer. Somebody says something, then he comes back again. He kind of does his thing, and then he just sits there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Could impeachment already be over? Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
The Chad Benson Show.
This is the best of Chad Benson.
independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Debbie Dingle, that's a real beauty. So she calls me up like 8 months ago. Her husband was there a long time. But I didn't give him the B treatment. I didn't give him the C or the D. I could have. I gave the A+ treatment. Take down the flags. She calls me up. It's the nicest thing that's ever happened. Thank you so much. John would be so thrilled. He's looking down. He'd be so thrilled. Thank you so much, sir. I said, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Maybe he's looking up. I don't know. I don't know.
Uncalled for. That's the stuff right there where I'm like, come on. Right? That's uncalled for. Right? So Dingle passed away. He says this last night, doing what he does, trying to get a laugh out of people, overstepped. And even today, Republicans not thrilled.
I don't know what he said, but I know this. I knew John Dingle. And to suggest, even in joking manner, that would be wrong. That is out of bounds. If he said that about John Dingle, he should apologize.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree, Kevin McCarthy.
I knew John Dingle. I knew Debbie Dingle. I served with them both. I think they were very good individuals. I think John served his country very well. Very proud.
Yeah. People are asking, come on now, you got to be better than this. And you do. You have to be better than this. All right. It's one thing when you go after Adam Schiff and some of these other things. And I find it at times childish, but it is what it is. Nobody sells you better than you. Nobody does you better than you. So you go about doing your thing. This to me, now I thought, come on now. Right. You pick fights and you say things that maybe in this day and age, it's what you need to do. I have no idea. I don't. It's crazy. But sorry, that to me was a bridge too far of yet something that's ridiculous, right? Where this is the stuff where you talk to most Trump supporters, and they'll say, yeah, I wish he'd stop tweeting or saying some of the things he says. And I talked to two people this morning who were super Trump supporters and like, God, that really pissed me off last night, And I agree, but that's Trump, right? That's people say, well, that's Trump, right? You got to take the bad with the good. But at some point in time, like when are you going to kind of grow up and say, all right, I'll poke fun at Nancy. I'll say some of the things I say, but maybe I need to tone it down on the dead. Maybe.
I think it's time to put politics aside on these kind of shots. I try to be respectful of everybody. I've never taken a personal shot at this president. I think his family is off limits. I was very grateful. By the way, I didn't call him. He called me to tell me he was lowering the flags, and that meant a lot. But John Dingle earned his burial at Arlington Cemetery because he's a World War II veteran, longest-serving member in the Congress. He loved our country.
Yeah. And I just think, again, another cheap shot that you didn't need to take. But that's Trump. Trump lashes out. He does. He lashes out. And I was thinking yesterday, it's like, first of all, the ignorance of people not understanding what's going on was huge on both sides, right? Like both sides who are devastated or excited that he's impeached. Right. He's still the president. He's not going anywhere. Right. And we'll touch on that in a second. But the personal stuff, again, he gets so personal. He says stuff and it's frustrating as hell. Like people say you defend him. I don't defend him. Right. I think a lot of the stuff he does is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's awful. The funny thing is we've talked about this where we live in this bizarro world now where everybody thinks they're rational and everybody else thinks they're irrational. So like you're irrational, but I'm rational. Everything I'm saying is totally fine and everything you're saying is no. There's no defending what he said last night. And I was thinking to myself, Trump, first of all, I think there was a bit of shock still. Right? I think there was a bit of shock. Like, you guys were serious? Like, I say all these things, but you're serious? You're serious. You impeached me. You did that. Wow. You guys were serious. And I think on the other side, he's angry. And then I think he thinks, okay, fine. How do I take this and turn this around to my benefit? But he's definitely, he snaps, man, at times. And yeah, they were serious. Doesn't mean you're going anywhere. You know, some people are tweeting at me last night, how long does he have in the White House before he has to leave? I'm like, probably 4.5, 5 years. Maybe. What do you mean? Well, he doesn't have to go. Yes, he does. He's been impeached. Impeached means nothing. And by the way, this may be where it ends. Right? I want everybody to understand that this may be where this ends. The reality is Pelosi doesn't have to send the articles over there. She can hold on to them.
We have legislation approved by the Rules Committee that will enable us to decide how we will send over the articles of impeachment. We cannot name managers until we see what the process is on the Senate side, and I would hope that that will be soon, as we did with our legislation, our Resolution 660, to describe what the process would be. So far, we haven't seen anything that looks fair to us, so hopefully it will be fair, and when we see what that is, we'll make a decision as a group, as we always have.
Yeah. So she has the opportunity here to hold on to these things. Because once she gets rid of them, it's in Mitch's hands. And whether she came out today and said, we were really fair. I'm going to be honest with you. All right. I understand why you guys did it. I understand the hatred you have for him, all of that stuff. But as somebody looking at this and saying to himself, and I wasn't in favor, even when I was younger, of what, took place with Clinton, I thought was a joke and thought the Republicans were idiotic and overstepped. And it was just a joke. What they did, what Adam Schiff and all of them did, and the Republicans played their part. But the reality is don't say that you were super fair and everything was just, it was all, no. That wasn't it. You wanted the Republicans to bring everybody that you asked for, right? And at the same time, people they asked for, you weren't going to bring. These are the rules, and the rules are this. You guys control there. He controls the Senate. So I talked to two people last night, two of my sources, who happen to be people, one on each side, that voted yesterday. And there is a lot of debate almost urging her to hold on. Play the game. Hold on. Because at the end of the day, he's impeached. Never had a trial, but he's still impeached. And they're already threatening, again, more impeachment. And the Republicans are saying, well, when we take over the House, we're just going to expunge it. Just get rid of it altogether. So this is the gamesmanship that goes on right now. In this day and age, politics now is more political than maybe it's ever been, because it's not only the back room, but it's also the front. Right? It's also being out in front of the cameras and wielding the power that you do or don't have.
The Speaker of the House actually has a lot of control over what happens next. So the Senate can't take up these articles of impeachment until the House formally delivers them to the Senate. And the timing of that is within the Speaker's control. So she could decide we're going to do this in the first week or the second week of January, as I think is still the most likely scenario. Or there has been some talk of potentially hitting pause, maybe trying to do some negotiating with the Senate before delivering the articles in order to get some concessions about things like live witnesses.
Yeah, because they called dead witnesses in, and it was like, oh, this sucks. So have your power, wield it while you can, make the noise. But Mitch is sitting back there saying, well, I'm basically Mitch McConnell, and this is my show. So, and if you don't like my show, well, then you guys win, and then you can run the show. That's what you would do, by the way. People say, I can't believe Mitch is doing that. You would do the exact same thing if you were in Mitch's shoes. You would. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Binge watching is out. I didn't realize that. So, yeah, binge watching is out of fashion Now it's drip feeding. One episode at a time. Right? So, and that's for new stuff. Right? So, shows that are older, obviously, you're not going to drip feed those. Here's 200 episodes of Friends or The Office or whatever. That's there. But the new stuff, instead of doing it, and this is what Disney's done, right, with The Mandalorian, where it's every Friday, and then they're just slowly but surely releasing them along the way. And I was like, because I was reading yesterday trying to figure out what they're talking about the 5 different binge watchers or that are out there, and I was like, which one am I? I'm like none of them, because I don't really binge watch. I do it in a weird way where I binge watch like a half an episode, or I'll binge watch like half a season of something, and then I'll never watch it again. I did that on so many shows. Like producer Phil, you must have started some. You thought, oh, I like this, and you've never watched it again.
Many times.
Yeah. Man, I will get, like, I'll watch the first 7 episodes of something. I really like this. This is awesome. And there's still 4 episodes. I'll get to it tomorrow. Like The Boys. I love that show. I got like 4 episodes deep, and I haven't watched it since. Peaky Blinders. I actually binge watched all the way to the latest season. I'm like, I can't wait to see it. I've had 50 opportunities to watch it. I just don't. So I feel like I've moved on. And that's part of the other problem, too, is you got to think to yourself, do you strike while the iron's hot? Do you make just we're going to do 70 episodes. We're going to do it in 6 months. We're going to just bang this thing out, and then we'll release it one season at a time. Because sometimes what happens, right, is you start binge watching something, and you get into it, and then you don't get it for another 14 months. And by then you're like, I'm on to something new, right? Life priorities have changed. I'm on to something new. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. But now it's the slow drip. But it can't be too slow. It's got to be enough. You got to have it little. So that's why it's like, okay, we're going to release 4 episodes this month, 6 episodes in 2 months, and just drip, drip, drip. So it keeps people excited and aware without them losing their interest. Smart thing to do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter. My Pillow. So I've been traveling, working lots, working extra hours, doing bunch of different shows and stuff on top of all the other shows I do. And one of the things is, I stay in a hotel because I do live a bit out of town. And so, man, these towels are awful they have in the hotel. Now, the hotel's nice, but it's just like, not the worst, but they could use a little bit of an upgrade. That's all I'm saying. My Pillow's got towels now, kids, and they're amazing. All right, 5 different colors to choose from. No fillers or cheap cotton. It's 100% U.S.-made cotton. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee. These things are incredible. 5 different colors, luxury feel, super absorbent, 30 by 56 bath towels, so extra big, extra soft, 16 by 30 hand towels, and washcloths as well. Made right here in the USA, and you're going to save huge, bigly right now. It's simple and easy. So what I want you to do, go to MyPillow.com, click on the new radio listener specials. When you do, type in code Benson, you're going to save 30% off, but you got to do it right now. MyPillow.com, click on the new radio listener special, 30% off these amazing towels. You're going to love them. Super absorbent, luxurious feel, 5 different colors to choose from. Get yours now and a 60-day money-back guarantee. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson, Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
Years
Year's End is when everyone trots out their best of lists and their worst of. Cats doesn't open until Friday, but already The Hollywood Reporter ranks the All-Star musical as one of 2019's worst movies. Other critics appear to agree it's getting pounded pretty much everywhere.
Why did you make me do that?
Other high-profile stinkers, according to The Hollywood Reporter, the X-Men sequel Dark Phoenix and Sylvester Stallone's Rambo: Last Blood.
I've lived in a world of death.
What if Rambo was a musical with cats? That would be something I would totally watch. Every time I see the commercial for cats, I'm like, this is so bad. You can already tell how bad it is. And like Star Wars is, for all intents and purposes, is getting blasted comparatively. It's the worst reviewed of the 9 movies. But the first time I saw one of the Cats trailers, I thought, is this real? This is happening? This happened? Like they did this? Somebody's like, we should do this. And everybody's like, really? You think? You think we should all dress up like giant cats and sing? Oh, yeah. I mean, it worked on the stage, so it's got to work here. It looks so bad. I don't care what kind of star power you have. I don't care who's in it. I don't care about any of that stuff. You know what I said the other day, Producer Phil? You will get this. Only one person got it in the room. I said, this is cop rock.
Yes.
Cop rock. For those of you guys out there who are old enough to remember, was it Stephen Bochco that did Cop Rock?
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, and whoever watched, 3 episodes of it?
Yeah. It was 1990. Debut was September 26th. Final episode was December 26th. Okay? For those of you guys who don't know what Cop Rock was, picture this. Hill Street Blues, but a musical. Super serious, absolutely in the middle of a trial. Somebody's on, trial for rape or murder. And in the middle of it, the guy that's on the stand will break out in song. And then the jury starts singing. And then you're thinking to yourself, is this real? And it was Stephen Bochco. Like, that guy did real stuff. Real stuff. But it's got a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is better than Cats. It looks awful. It does. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Is it Showgirls awful? I would like to think so. At least with Showgirls, you're like, well, there's some Showgirls. Here it's like, well, they took a girl that's kind of hot and they put her in a cat outfit. And not the cool kind of Halloween, cat outfit, more just like a real cat outfit. Oh, boy, that sounds fun. Can't wait to not see that. Text the program, 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the best of Chad Benson.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Sadly, but with confidence and humility, with allegiance to our founders and a heart full of love for America. Today, I am asking our chairman to proceed with articles of impeachment.
And that's how the day started. And away we head. Yes, kids, it's happening. It's happening. We're getting there. Who's excited? Who's not excited? You knew it was coming, right? Like, we all knew it was going to happen. She wandered up there today. Away she went, talking about all the things that Trump has done.
The president has engaged in abuse of power undermining our national security and jeopardizing the integrity of our elections. His actions are in defiance of the vision of our founders and the oath of office that he takes to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
She didn't sound thrilled. Talking yesterday to Congresswoman Debbie Lesko, and she said, look, behind closed doors, Nancy's had some issues. She's been very wary of this. Think about this in the bigger picture thing, right? You got the micro, right, which is the here and now. So many people live only in the here and now. They can't see past tomorrow. And you should live in the present to a certain, but you need to plan for the future. She looks at big picture in the world of politics. Whether you like her or not, you can't dispute the fact you don't survive as a woman who's been there for that long to rise to that kind of power without understanding everything that goes on in and around D.C. And she's got power. She has an understanding. Everybody else is, especially today with the angry mob, right? The rabble, and you've got to kowtow to them now. So you've got a base of people that are angry and pissed. You've got a bunch of people that are just a little apathetic about it, right? Don't care either way. Don't like Trump, but at this point in time, they're ready just to let this thing, the chips fall where they may next year. But that little group has that kind of power. And inside of that little group are the likes of AOC and the likes of Ilhan Omar and Al Green and all. And so at some point in time, she realizes, all right, I'm going to let you do this, Adam Schiff. I'm going to let you do this, Nadler. This is what you guys want to do. So we're going to go ahead and do it. But let me tell you what the repercussions could be. I don't think they care because they're living in the moment, right? They're living in this moment. Here's the repercussions, potentially. Trump slides through easily in the Senate, which we know will happen. She even loses some Democratic senators as far as acquittal goes. On top of that, maybe there's a seat or two that they have to defend more seats in this next 2020 in the Senate side. And all of a sudden they look up and they've lost a seat or two. You look over and maybe she loses the House. And Trump wins re-election. What does that give them? Her big picture look is, I've lost the House for the second time. I'm the first person to do that. So good for you, right? Wrong. Secondly, take away the politics of it all when it comes to the elected, not elected. Look at the court. Trump may have an opportunity to put a couple more, 3 potentially, but probably at least 2 justices, swaying the court to the conservative side for potentially decades. She's thinking macro, they're thinking micro. Unfortunately, if she even would have went with the censure, she may have still lost because they may have looked at her and said, we don't believe in your leadership ability anymore. Is what it is. This is the world we live in. And when you become this partisan and you go out there and you fight the fight that you're supposed to fight, but then you start to get to a certain way where you can no longer handle this younger generation in such a way because you've allowed the voices so loud to dictate what you do, you've put yourself in a position where, quite frankly, you were never going to win. Losing was the only option. It's friendly fire or other.
This is the day that Alexander Hamilton feared and warned would come. This is the day the nation is weaker because they surely cannot put their animosity or fear of losing an election in the future. Wanted to impeach the president. You watch them at their words, watch them at their actions, watch them what they have done. The most important part here is Alexander Hamilton, founding father, was concerned and warned us that this day could come. History will look back today, and it'll be a sad day.
I don't think it is a sad day. The politics of it all is sad. Here's the part that's good. Stick with me, folks, because too often than not, everybody, again, looking at a much smaller picture. It's a historic day, but sad? No. We live in such an amazing country that we could challenge our leaders. It sucks that it's so very much partisan. I think we can all agree with that, right? Like, it totally sucks. Like, yeah. But the beauty of the world that we live in our country, because of our framers, is that we can challenge. Even the highest office in the land is not immune. Unfortunately, because of politics, especially today in our tribalism, this may be more of a norm than an exception. But it's still nice to know that, hey, you can't be that person that feels that they can live in such a way that you can get away with things. Tribalism's not going anywhere. And as long as we have platforms where we can argue with one another and we can put our views out there pretty much without any worry of any repercussions whatsoever when it comes to arguing over some of these things, like politics, this is what it is. But I still feel very proud to be an American today. Because whether I think Trump is guilty or innocent, I think what he has done at times should make you feel uncomfortable. I think what he's done at times, in particular with this, was there's no doubt he was looking for an edge for himself. Come on now. In saying that, does it rise to this level of him being removed? I don't think so. But the fact that we live in such an amazing time and in such an amazing country, we should all have a smile on our face. It's sad that it's this partisan. It's sad that we're sitting here arguing over certain things that you just sit there and you shake your head, because we're at that point now where it's red versus blue, which drives me crazy, and it should drive most of you crazy too. But at the end of the day, isn't it great that, yeah, we can challenge our leaders? We can. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. This was very interesting. Pelosi, I don't know if you guys hear this, but, you know, her and Rosen got into it today. And, you know, he asked about, you know, like, hey, do you hate Donald Trump? I mean, think about that. So Rosen asked if, you know, she hates Donald Trump, and she was like walking off, right? And it was just a very interesting exchange.
This is about the Constitution of the United States and the facts that lead to the president's violation of his oath of office. And as a Catholic, I resent your using the word hate in a sentence that addresses me. I don't hate anyone. I was raised in a way that is a heart full of love, and always prayed for the president. And I still pray for the president. I pray for the president all the time.
Yeah, she wasn't done there, right? Again, so he goes, hey, can I ask you a question? You know, do you and the Democrats hate the president? Right? Because several Republicans have said that. Do I think some of them hate the president? Yeah. I mean, is hate a strong word? Yeah. But I think there's a lot of them that can't stand anything about him. You know, maybe some of them do hate him, right? I'm sure some of the Republicans, and I know a lot of people out there, I see it in the world, you hate Nancy Pelosi. So come on now, stop being, you know, hypocritical in this. And unfortunately, because of the tribalism, we now no longer see each other as individuals and as fellow Americans or whatever. We see each other as right and left. But she wasn't done.
As a Catholic, I resent your using the word hate in a sentence that addresses me. I don't hate anyone. I was raised in a way that is a heart full of love, and always prayed for the president. And I still pray for the president. I pray for the president all the time. So don't mess with me when it comes to words like that.
Did you hear that, Phil? Don't freaking mess with me. What?
So don't mess with me.
Or I'll come for you. My white pantsuit. I didn't think of those apples. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Hillary was on the other yesterday with Howard Stern. It was very interesting. Howard's a great interview. And I say, you know, the thing about him and his is, you know, in what we do, right? It's we've got time constraints. It's great to be able to sit there for 3 hours. Same thing, you look at Rogan. Rogan's a pretty damn good interviewer, all things considered, because you can sit there for 2-3 hours, an hour and a half, whatever you want to do, and you can chat with people. And because you're chatting with them, rather than quote unquote an interview, it becomes more of a thing where, hey, this is what's going on. But it was very interesting to watch her, because I'm like, where was she? Because she would have been far more interesting than the person that ran. She talked about boys.
Bill was the first guy you loved.
No, there was somebody before him. Yeah.
Somebody before Bill that you would have considered marrying?
No, but in love.
We never hear about this guy. Oh, is this guy probably pissed he didn't close the deal,
He
right?
should have locked that down.
Yeah.
No.
He would have been at Oklahoma last night.
I dated a lot of different people, and
Right.
I liked a lot of them.
You were popular.
I was pretty popular.
Right.
Yeah, I was okay popular.
Right.
Yeah.
But boys were not your problem.
Boys were not my problem.
Right.
But I had not, until I met Bill, met anybody that I thought I would ever marry.
Yeah, boys were not her problem. And she said, I'm not a lesbian. I like boys, right? Not a lesbian, but it's just very interesting. But yesterday, just watching her reactions and some of the stuff, we're going to talk about it throughout the show, just is a very interesting thing. And it was the same thing with Mitt Romney. When Mitt Romney ran, he was starch in so many ways. There was a lot of that about him that was, when she ran, she was very sterile. She was very, distant. She was disconnected from, it seemed, human emotions. She sat there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it was. And quite frankly, you're like, that's a human being. Do I think she would have won? Well, you got to go to Wisconsin and a few of these other places, and you've got to actually have a better pitch. And so many people knew a lot about you. But that person at least was relatable-ish, comparedly, to what we got. And then same thing with, Mitt Romney when he ran. I'll tell you what, you watch that documentary that followed behind the scenes from the time he announced all the way till the day after the election. That guy in front of the camera would have done a hell of a lot better than what we end up seeing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Car Shield, amazing. Love it. Great holiday gifts. I mean, it's you're looking around. It's Hanukkah. It's Christmas. You've got a car, and maybe your husband's got a car that he loves and he drives it around, but it doesn't have a warranty on it, and or maybe you bought your kids a car and it doesn't come with a warranty. What are you looking for? You want some kind of protection. That's where Car Shield comes in. It's affordable. It's a protection plan that saves you thousands for cover repairs, and it covers everything. GPS, electronics, you name it, they cover it. You get 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop, and the shop is the shop that you choose. They get them paid directly. You pay small deductible. They've helped over 1 million customers. They're ready to help you. Call them today. Find out what plans work best for you, your budget, the whole 9 yards. They'll take care of you. 800-CAR-6000. Mention code Benson. 800-CAR-6000. When you do code Benson, that saves you 10%. Or carshield.com, carshield.com. Code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
The effect of impeachment is to overturn the popular will of the voters. We must not overturn an election and remove a president from office, except to defend our system of government or our constitutional liberties against a dire threat. And we must not do so without an overwhelming consensus of the American people. There must never be a narrowly voted impeachment or an impeachment supported by one of our major political parties and opposed by the other. Such an impeachment will produce the divisiveness and bitterness in our politics for years to come.
That right there was Nadler, 98. I know things change, right? Why? Because you have the chance to do it. Things change. Remember the nuclear option with Harry Reid? Remember that? And then what happened? People said, don't do it. You're going to regret it. Don't do it. You're going to regret it. Don't do it. Guess what? They regret it. I think the Democrats will regret this. I do. I think the Democrats are absolutely going to look. They do not have the will of the people. If the will of the people was there, I get it, right? If the will of the people, if you had 70% of America saying this guy has to go, absolutely, I would understand that. If you have politicians that are in there who not just know about the thing that would have whatever it would be that happened, but also the inner workings and everything, I would understand that. You don't have that. You don't. But the tribalism, the craziness of the time that we live in, you could see what the angry mob can do now. This is what happens. And I know say, well, Hillary won the popular vote. Yeah, but I always like to remind everybody, she had 65 million. He had 62,800,000. It wasn't like he got 4 votes and she got every other vote, but somehow he magically won. Like he got the golden ticket. It didn't work that way. And you don't have 95 million people saying, get rid of this guy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from you. Crazy day. Historic day. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
The Chad Benson Show.
This is the best of Chad Benson.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I just think rich people ought to be able to pay their own tuition. I have nothing against them. I just think that if you're in a position to pay full freight, then you should. And I'm also concerned about a narrative emerging that ignores the fact that not everybody goes to college. This is not the same thing as K through 12. This is not the same thing as Social Security, because college is not for everybody.
Oh, my God. Wait, what? I like Pete Buttigieg. Chad, you shouldn't like Pete Buttigieg. You're on the radio and you're talking, and aren't you supposed to be uber conservative? Not a conservative. I'm me. That's it. Right? But I like him. Not everybody goes to college. You don't need to go to college. Is it good? Absolutely. Every morning when I talk to Jack, our big saying is, Jack, the more we learn, the more we earn. But you can learn in a lot of different ways. You can do so many different things when it comes to educating yourself to make a living. And I think we have sold a bill of goods to a large group of young adults that the only thing that you're ever going to be able to do is basically work at a gas station or a fast food restaurant unless you go to college, and that is a lie. That's absolutely a lie. Is college important? I think education's important. How you get that education should be up to you. But I also think we send these kids off to school to make these massive decisions at 18, 19 years old to take out massive amount of debt. And not everybody has. Like, what did they say? The average person, I think I was talking to Andy Biggs, Congressman, it was David Schweiger, and said, look, when you go and look, it's not 50, 100, 250. It's a lot of debt, but they make it seem like that everybody goes to college comes out, if there's 100,000 students, they're all going to come out with a degree and $400,000 in debt. That's not the reality. There's plenty of grants, there's all kinds of things, but still the average is about $29,000. Some have none. Some do have $300,000. Chances are you got $300,000 or $400,000 in debt. The reality is you've probably gone and got a degree in medicine or a law degree, and that will pay back. But it is expensive. But we've sold this thing like, yes, this is it. This is the only way you're going to be able to make a living. Otherwise, you're going to end up living with mom and dad for the rest of your life, and you're going to wear a hairnet and a name tag, and you're going to ask people, would you like to supersize that?
Now, I want everybody who wants to go to college to have the chance. I want to make sure cost is never a barrier. But where I come from, 3 out of 4 people don't have a college degree. And if the message we're sending to them is that you need a college degree in order to get by in life, in order to prosper, in order to succeed, we're leaving most Americans out. And I think they're just missing that very important fact.
Yeah. I mean, I think we need to talk about things like apprenticeships. Talk about things like trade schools. It's just, it really is something that we need to start looking at, especially when we worry about how we're going to grow our future workforce, which is shrinking. For those of you not keeping score, take away all the other things, right? The reason that the job market is tight is because, okay, boomers living longer, they're healthier, even ones who are in positions that are really good financially, where they could retire, aren't because they don't feel they need to. They're working into their late 60s, early 70s comfortably, and they're happy to do so because they feel they got experience and they still think they have things they can accomplish and get done. So the market's tighter there because, well, they're entering the workforce. But the problem is that upper echelon is eventually going to retire. This younger workforce is coming in. That's great. But beneath that, we're not having kids. We're not replacing. And that's something to look at. We talk about Japan and their workforce. You look at places like Greece. You know, we should have, for everybody who's retired, we should have, ideally, you should be like, well, hopefully you have 15 or 20 people that are in the workforce being able to support that person, with the Social Security and all this kind of, you get to the point where you're starting to look at, getting close to pair, where you're going to go on par 1-to-1. That's not that's not sustainable. That's why immigration is important, whether people want to believe that or not. Now, not illegal immigration, but if we're not going to produce children, we better figure out how to have a workforce. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. He's just awful.
George Zimmerman and his lawyer are suing Trayvon Martin's family, their attorney, state police, and former state prosecutors, making the unsubstantiated claim that one of the witnesses at Zimmerman's 2013 trial was a fake.
OJ, George Zimmerman, right? Robert Blake. I mean, we talk about these people who have this, their name conjures up of like, you did something wrong. We think you've done something horrible. You were found not guilty, but it doesn't mean that we want anything to do with you. We want you to go away. And let's be real. He's not an upstanding citizen, right? Take away even what happened with Trayvon Martin. He had more than a few run-ins with the law. And he's just, but he's suing now. And the person that he is partnering up, you will, is wacky to say the least. He's a lawyer that pushes conspiracy theories.
In a lawsuit filed in Florida, they paint a grand conspiracy and are asking for $100 million, arguing that the young woman who testified that she was on the phone with Trayvon Martin as he was being killed was a fraud, coached by prosecutors and Martin's family.
Yeah, that's a conspiracy theory, right? Or is it? I think pretty much they kind of proved that was happening. Could she have been coached? Look, anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. Not everything is a conspiracy theory, but the reason they have conspiracy theories is because there has been conspiracies. But it's just him. There's a human being, right? He's awful. He's awful. Ugh.
The lawyer filing the lawsuit has a long history of suing black lawmakers and pushing conspiracy theories. Larry Klayman once submitted a petition to deport President Obama. His legal tactics have gotten him sanctions and bans from some courtrooms.
Yeah. And that's who's running your show. Right? And this has a lot to do with a film.
George Zimmerman hasn't rested since the trial, selling Confederate artwork to raise money for a supposed Muslim-free gun shop, and even selling the gun he used to kill Trayvon Martin. The timing of the lawsuit is curious. It comes as Zimmerman is promoting a new movie on these new allegations.
Yeah. And that right there is enough of why he's just awful. Right? Think about this, right? In something that was controversial, right? There was race involved, and only to find out that, there's a lot of, it's all white and black. It was, just step back. Just think about the controversy and George Zimmerman, who he is and what he's about, right? Selling those things and then the Confederate stuff and all of these things. Then think about somebody like Darren Wilson, police officer, Ferguson, right? The incident, the investigations, eventually they said, no. They opened this investigation. They cleared him of all these things. They went through this entire situation with him. And what did he do? That's it. I'm out. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to go somewhere. I don't want to be that. Not that I think he was anywhere near as bad, but that. Do I think that George Zimmerman was somebody who was out looking to kill somebody that night? No, I've always said that, judging by everything, I always thought he's basically more Barney Fife than, like an assassin. He's not John Wick. He's Barney Fife. But he's desperate. And if you're going to say to somebody, you're a loser, like this guy is the loser. He's desperate. He's a loser. And I'm sure it's tough being him. The world hates you. I'm not disputing any of that. But he's everything that has the big L on your forehead.
Trayvon Martin's family says once again they feel victimized. Their lawyer is calling this another failed attempt to defend the indefensible and a shameless attempt to profit off the lives and grief of others.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's got nothing else, right? Like, could you imagine him here's a question for you, right? How does he even have a regular job? Everybody knows who he is. So how do you have a regular job? You going to go into work, right? Working in your office? Kind of know who he is. It's George Zimmerman. You killed Trayvon Martin. People are going to have their thoughts, their beliefs. Some may have good ones towards him, and some may have bad. And it's just, be like working with OJ. Just, yeah. But still, it's just, he is exactly what's awful. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. This is the problem when it comes to being so litigious in our country. Right? We want to have laws there. We want to have opportunities to square things, especially if there has been an injustice. But man, am I? He's awful. Yeah. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Christmas. It's Christmas time. So my Blink, I got a couple more Blink cameras. I've got a bunch. And a lot of it's for my lizards. Well, we've got them in front of the house, got them on the side of the house. But for my lizards, because I love to make sure that they're, doing things they're supposed to do. But my big boy, Norman, he loves to try to eat the camera. But I like the fact that the other day I had something delivered and I was like, oh, cool. I got an alert and was able to say, yeah, just put it right there so people can't see it from the street. Blink it's what you do this time of year, right? You know, it's the holiday season. People are getting gifts. You're getting stuff delivered at home. The XT2 cameras are motion activated. You can place them anywhere. So easy to set up. Or say Tech Motion, easy to set up. Sets up in minutes. A couple AA batteries. It's wire free. There's no subscriptions or any contracts or any of that stuff. It is just so simple to do. And with the smartphone app and your alerts and the two-way talk feature, it's such a great way to protect your goods coming to your house this holiday season. And beyond that, your home and your family and everything you work so hard for. So now is your chance. Amazing deal. Save up to 25% now through December 24th on Blink XT2 security cameras. On top of that, while you act now and do it fast, you get a free Amazon Echo with the purchase of any system. Go to blinkprotect.com/sale. 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 Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
I'm so tired. I'm exhausted.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
It's official that Taylor Swift Netflix documentary is happening. It'll be called Taylor Swift, Miss Americana, and we're told it'll be a raw and emotionally revealing look at one of the most iconic artists of our time. Miss Americana will open the 2020 Sundance Film Festival before hitting Netflix early next year. Swift had been in a battle with her former record label over whether or not her old music could be used in the doc. It's not clear from the Netflix press release whether or not that issue's been settled.
Yeah, think about this. So with that going on, I wonder what she's getting paid, because Billie Eilish is supposed to be getting paid $25 million by Apple for a documentary of her. Think about that. She get $25 million. So what do you think she is pulling in? Because I'm assuming Taylor is going to get a little bit more. And Netflix loves to spend money. I'm thinking, and I'm just saying, I'm thinking they're going to give her at least, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 50. Right? That would be, I mean, it's massive. But, I mean, I think think of Ellen, like $50 million for her Netflix special. They're just handing out money. That's crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Of course, today the big news is
We will proceed in a manner worthy of our oath of office to support and defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah, they're moving
help
forward.
us God.
So help you God. They're moving forward with the impeachment articles. So Nadler and them will put it together. They'll have more hearings on Monday. But from what I understand, she's asking all of them to stay through the weekend to work on this. They'll have more hearings on Monday, and then they may want to vote as early as December 20th. Which, oddly enough, is and why is that day important? Because that's when the CR runs out. You know, that's like the whole shutdown. There's certain things, because remember, while there's a CR in place, not everything works the way it's supposed to. Like, it covers certain things, gets certain things paid. But the worry is that with the government shutdown and all of this stuff happening, so getting it done, and that way they can all get on their Christmas break and be prepared for the battle that is going to ensue. And there is going to be a battle, and the battle has very little to do, again, with right, wrong. This is about the best salesmanship. I was on a Three Martini lunch today with Greg Columbus, and one of the things we talked about is that the Washington Post is essentially trying, basically telling everybody, as you guys are, quote unquote, while we know you're supposed to be neutral, you're going to be the ones who are going to have to sway the public. And they're talking about maybe the best thing that they should be doing is making movie trailers. And I said to him, the reality is we don't even want Cliff Notes now. We want Cliff Notes of the Cliff Notes. So maybe that will sway opinion. Because Nate Silver, right, 538, found that there are some people out there who still could be swayed. I don't really see it, but is it possible? Sure. But I think that ship has sailed. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. ChadBenson, Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
This is the Chad Benson Show.